So originally a soccer player as a junior, played soccer and come down here, played under 17s, about 1985, something like that. Come through the ranks, probably played a couple of years in the reserves, and then went on and played senior football.
You said I got here in '87 and Gordo was a big, raw-boned young fella. He was like a baby gazelle. He was all arms and legs. And in that era, like a lot of other blokes at the footy club, he had to earn his stripes, and he'd done a fair apprenticeship in the twos. I think he would have played probably 2 or 3 years in the twos, and he had to develop. He developed himself into not only probably he's the number one ruckman at Pines, but he developed himself into one of the premier ruckmen in the whole league.
Well, first memory of Gordo, we played in together in, I think it was 1985, the under 17s. It was my first year, his second year. I think he'd just come across from soccer, and there was a bit of a trouble in one of the games against Hastings out here, and a few of the boys got in a bit of a fight and a bit of strife, and I'm pretty sure that him and a couple of other blokes ended up getting suspended for a year after that Hastings game. So therefore he would have missed that whole 1986 season, which would have been his first season in seniors, because we went from 17s to seniors back then. So yeah, so as you said earlier, Mark, he's probably got another 20 games he should have under his belt at this stage, so we could have been doing this last year.
Look, I think with him playing the 500 games, I don't think it'll ever be done again. Not in this club. I'm not saying it won't be done anywhere else, but you can't see that sort of thing happening now.
Even when I think about now, he'll probably be focused more on 550 than 500 now, because he's one of those blokes who doesn't look in the rearview mirror. He sort of just keeps going forward. So I think, in his head, I reckon internally he'd be going, well, 500 is great, but I'm going to be playing 550. That sort of bloke. I don't know how he does it, but that's how he sort of goes about it.
And plenty of people come and go, and we all move on and come back, but he's stayed here, and it's, you can't even think to play 500 games. When he first played in '87, it must have been, because he missed '86. Yeah. It's nearly 30 odd years. It's incredible. Ridiculous.
I look at blokes like Gordo, and there's other blokes in the league that have been one club players, and you just got to have enormous respect for blokes like that, Dunny. And as you said, when at his peak, when he was playing interleague football and all them sorts of things, he did have some big offers to leave the club, but he's just, he's been red and green. He bleeds red and green. His whole family's been involved in the club. And as we were talking about before, mate, you get blokes that come to the clubs these days, not just Pines, but throughout the whole league. And it's what the club can do for them, with money and all that. But blokes like Gordo and a lot of blokes from that era, it was more what we can do for the footy club. And as we all know, with his sons playing here, his wife, Vicky, they've just done so much for this footy club. And for him to play 500 games, you don't use the word legend too often, mate, but he is a legend of this club.
Probably one of the best things that you can remember about him is that he always played for the club, a club only. He had plenty of offers to go down the bush, everything like that, to play because of his size and being a good ruckman, but he always stuck by the club.
He's made a lot of us who play with him walk taller. I guarantee you the boys today who play with him will walk taller just being around Gordo. Blokes have probably said he could have obviously gone for a lot more dollars and that sort of stuff, but he's always just stuck around the footy club.
The thing that I admire most about Gordon is that you have to earn his respect, and he doesn't give it out easily, so which is good. It's a really good trait he has, that you earn his respect, and you earn it by doing the right things for the club. And with Gordon, the most impressive thing was the club comes first, second and third with him. That's all there is to it. It's all about the club. And if people aren't towing the line, as many blokes who spoke earlier will probably say, he'll let them know. And it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're the best player in the club, the youngest player in the club, or the oldest player in the club. If you're not towing the line, he'll tell you, and he'll make it known, and he'll embarrass you in front of everyone, so you have to toe the line. But that's good. I'm all for that.
I actually didn't like Gordo when I first met him. We used to blue all the time on the footy field, so we had some fun times. And I was a bit of a sook back then, and he'd have a crack at me, and I just couldn't handle it. So I'd go back at him, and we did this for a few years, So
he's earning his spot in the side. He's good for the younger guys, and he goes crooked them a little bit, but he's only trying to help them and trying to set them on the right track, and he's been great for the club.
He's a character, mate. Look, I'll tell you what, he upsets a few boys, and it's funny because I was in that situation myself a few years ago. So it makes me laugh to see the way he gets into these young blokes and they can't handle it. Yeah. He still does it now. Like he ripped into a bloke last week, and it just makes me laugh. I'll sit back and just take it in and just go, that's Gordo. That's just the man. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm a racing man, and he's probably a bit like Lonro. He's been a great sire, a great player and a great sire. He's given us those two great players, and Bo's having probably in career best form this year playing in the ruck. He's just gone to another level, and Guy's probably one of the best marks in the competition, and they're just they just bleed for the club. So yeah, he's done a great job in that regard.
Yeah, watching him play growing up was something special. Like, I always remember it. We used to run water for him. I used to just sit in his pocket when he'd go down forward and just stand next to him, give him water, and he'd have to tell me to piss off and go give someone else water.
My memories from a young kid was just come down watching him play in the ruck, dominate, ruck the whole game. Just inspiration really. Look up to him. Someone I've always looked up to.
But we both know that he's not the hard man. Our mum, Vicky, she's the hard one, and he knows that too. Yeah, he knows that too.
So is that where you get your toughness from?
I think so.
That's where Bo does. I get my toughness from my dad, Gordo. Not much.
Quite a few years back, we were playing against Mornington down at Mornington, and he had a stroke. And while playing, and everyone thought that's got to be the finish of his playing career. But about 6-7 weeks later, he's back playing footy again, and you just can't imagine that he was able to do that. But he went on and for a guy that had a stroke, and then didn't stop him from smoking, didn't stop him from drinking, and. He's just Gordon. He's just always been the same. Just a great club man, the whole family. You can't say enough about him.
Yeah, so Barry Moore touched on Gordo having a stroke, and that was with best memories 95, 96, and you cannot appreciate what that means to someone who's had a stroke. It was at Mornington. He thought he'd had a pinched nerve in his back, and I remember watching him crawl around the ground. The St John's ambulance guy came out, and he wouldn't go in the ambulance. He crawled around the ground, thinking he's got a pinched nerve, he'll run back on. He said, no, you're going straight to the Alfred Hospital. You can't underestimate what he's come back from, just normal footy injuries, but to have a stroke at that age and still play another, I think it's about another 150 senior games was unbelievable, plus the 200 he's played on top of that. So Gordo, from me and everyone else at the club, fantastic result, and hope you keep going for many more years.
Anyone who knows Gordo, and when you mention Gordo's name, just enormous respect for the guy, just being a one-club player, and I think a lot of younger guys can look at blokes like Gordon and take a leaf out of his book. It's put something back into the footy club. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's probably a lot of clubs. That's what's missing these days, where everyone just wants to take from the club instead of putting back into the club. So, no, look, good luck for Gordo and his 500th, mate. He might play another couple hundred.
Yeah, congratulations to him, and congratulations to the whole footy club that we've been able to have a bloke who's that happy being around him. He's just wanted to keep going and keep going. So it's a big celebration for all of us.
He's just been great for this club. You talk about club people, and especially being the president for a few years, you start to realise who's great around clubs and who aren't, and the Hendry family as a whole, mate, it doesn't get any better than that.
See about Gordo? 31 years after you kicked off in the under-17s, 1985. 500 games, no one's even got close to it, Pines. Tell us about how it all started. Tell the journey.
Started when I gave away soccer. A few of my mates played footy down here, asked me to come down and have a run. So I come down here, had a run, enjoyed it. Next year up into the twos, and just started playing twos and enjoyed it. Met a few real good mates, close mates.
Who were some of the mates? Who were some of the boys you remember? Think back those days.
Cowboy, who's my brother-in-law now, married to his sister. Darren Chalkley, Baz Chalkley. Yeah, a few of those old boys that.
Who was coaching the under-17s at the time?
Russell Sfegos.
Okay.
Russell Sfegos. He was a good. We got away with a lot with Russell. He wasn't too strict on us.
And the seconds coaches in the early years, who were some of your seconds coaches?
seconds coach, Jimmy Smith. He was a tough footballer. He was another one like Jimmy Messina, led by example. You know, he could ask you to do anything and you'd do it because you knew that he'd do it as well, and that's what you really respect about people.
What was the club like in those mid '80s? We were sort of riding a pretty successful period. What was it like for a young bloke coming down and being around some of the successful sides?
Well, like I told my two boys, Bo and Guy, like we just used to turn up to footy season and we played finals. That was it, you know, like the home and away games were like pre-season. And then come finals time and then you'd step it up, and I never really appreciated that how rare finals were, like we were saying, you know, like 31 years and one flag, you know, a lot of losing ones, and you look back and you wish, like my first game in the first, I was spent at quarter time because we only used to just train on a Thursday night, that was it, because that was all you had to do in the reserves because we were such a good team. But yeah, the difference between first and second was a massive step. A massive step.
How many finals in the 500 games, do you think?
It's probably about 30 all up, ones and twos. So yeah, we were pretty lucky during that era.
How many? So we've got 94. The flag was sitting behind. Obviously, it was the one and only for a great year, great team for the club. What about some of the losing ones? So we've all played in losing flags. How many losing ones for you?
Five losing firsts, grand finals, and two of them, 95 and 96, we were the best team by an absolute mile on paper, but you know, win
What do
free
you
on
think
paper.
those years? What cost us that 95, 96? What was the difference?
I think maybe we got ahead of ourselves. Thought it was just a matter of, you know, we played, Hastings was 95 or 96, I'm not sure which one it was, but we played them in round 18, beat them. We played them in the second semi and beat them. Played them in the grand final. I think it was 7 goals to 2 at quarter time. We ended up kicking 9 goals for the game. You know, just switched off.
What would you say over those 500 games, if you were going to summarise it, what are the main things you've learnt about playing 500 senior games at the one club? What are the things that you take away from that?
It's just what you don't, like at the start of the year, or when you start your footy career, you know, I never said 31 years ago, you know, I can't wait till I'm 47 till I play my 500th game. It's not something you don't even dream about it. It's just something that anyone that says they're like, you know, I'm going to set out to play 500 goals. One of the boys there on Tuesday night said, I'm going to play 500 games too, and I pointed to him. I says, mate, you've got more tape on you now than I've used in 500 games. You won't get anywhere near it, you know. But, yeah, it's just something you do.
What do you think the main secret to your longevity's been? Is it the desire or the fitness, or what's the style?
I'd say the desire, the love for the game. You know, I just love it. Like I was saying on Thursday night, like we got a flogging the other night at training, and I done it all, and I knew that I'd be there. He told us we we're going to get flogged the next 4 Thursday nights, and I said to the boys, I said, this is a test of character about who's going to be there. I said, because I know I'll be there with every one of them. You got to do the hard yards to get the rewards at the end.
And going through some of the players that stick out in your mind, our players, Pines players, that were players that you play with, you thought they were super players.
Yeah, one of them's here now, Brendan Moore, you know, Jimmy Messina. Like, you know, then you got your, like, Possum, he was good, you know, everyone walked a foot taller when Possum was out there. It was quite good, you know. Like Strop was great to be around and that, and there's a lot of other blokes that I'm probably missing at the moment, but yeah.
What about the boys? It must give you enormous pleasure just to see your boys come through. Obviously, Bo's captain, and the guy's as good a player as he's on the peninsula. Must be unbelievable watching those guys run around.
Well, I think about Joel Selwood's old man, you know, him with 3 boys running around the AFL. So I'm just as proud as what he is that these boys are playing at Pines.
Yeah, fantastic. Good stuff. Thanks, Gordo. Unbelievable career, mate. Unbelievable career. Everyone in the club's so proud that you've been able to get there. And, you know, good luck today. Put on a good performance, and I hope the rest of the year works out for you.
Cheers, bud. Thanks.
Well done, guys. Good.